Hello everyone, this is Johannes.
And this is Cinema.
And you are watching Board Gaming Ramblings.
And today we are taking a look at Spectacular. This is a review copy that we gotten from the publisher and we know the designers of this game.
So is Spectacular spectacular? I can say it already that it is a great game. I think it's going to be good for both casual players and also more advanced players if you like puzzle games. In Spectacular, you are going to be drafting dice and tiles. You're going to place them out here to make your own little animal sanctuary. You're going to draft things from this common pool that you're going to send around. Every player is going to have one of these. And you're also going to play tiles and dice from your personal pool. Every round you're going to take one thing from this and one thing from that. And you're going to place them on the tiles. If you place a tile, you can place it wherever. If you place a die, you have to place it on a colored thing of the same with a couple of different rules. What you're trying to do is to get points. You're getting points by making habitats of the same color with these breeding tiles. So you're going to have to have a 1 or a 2. And this has a king domino side scoring. So you're going to score all these at the end of the game times so many of these tiles with a heart and a die on it. So right now it's going to be 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 times 1. If this wasn't there, it would be 8 times 0, which is bad. You're going to score for a couple of other things. You're going to score for how many different animals you have. There's a scoring in the middle of the game after you have done 8 rounds. And there are missions you can add to make it more complex and add more ways to score the game. After you have played 8 rounds and then 7 rounds, the player who has the most points is the winner.
I love puzzle games, and I think that Spectacular is a great one because it combines really simple rules with the crunch of the decision making. So it doesn't take away from me having an interesting time with it. So I think that, as you said, the different ways to score. Do I want to focus on having these condomino style scoring for the big habitat, or do I want to finish building this tower so I can score for that? Like combined with getting the right dice for the tiles is really interesting.
And what makes this work is the drafting system. And it's a very interesting drafting system. I don't think I've seen it done in this way before. You have your tile that's over here is going to have some dice and some tiles on it, which you're going to have to draft from. And when you play it a bit, you can also look ahead and see what other people have. You're playing simultaneously. You can basically, there's a number here. So if someone is in a position where it's like, I have to wait to see what you take, you can do that as well. But you're playing simultaneously most of the time, which makes the game work. Or else it would be a long one. You also have this, which is basically fixed. The dice you have, you can re-roll them once at the beginning of the game, and then they're fixed. There's a little bit of way to manipulate the dice, but most of the time it's going to be that's what you have, and you know that what you have to work with, and can choose your strategy based on those things. I really think that is interesting. There is probably going to be things here that are better or worse, especially when adding the missions to the game. But all in all, I think this drafting system is the core of the game, because the puzzle I've seen before. The drafting of this makes that puzzle elevated to a different thing.
I agree, that's really interesting. I love that you have one fixed thing and one more tactical. It could be variable. I also loved adding the missions to the game because that really adds another layer to, okay, I can go for this scoring, but I really want to make that mission work because that's 18 points. That is a lot in this game.
I don't think you should add the missions when you play the first time. And I don't think you should add a mission when you play with more casual gamers.
Yeah.
Because the missions, when I read it, it makes the game more complex. If it doesn't make the game more complex, I'm going to be easy. And I play the missions it's another level of things you want to do. Because if the other player gets 2, 3 of those missions and you want to get 1, it's going to be harder to win the game. Obviously, because they're going to get more points.
Absolutely.
So it's going to be one of those where you have played it, even when either if you play it with the same group, like your family or a game group, a couple of times, then you add them. Or it's also a great thing that you can choose. If you're playing with more casual players or players who hasn't played a lot of spatial puzzles, you can play without them or you can play with them. Me personally, I will always play with them if I'm not playing with new players.
Yes, we enjoy that challenge, and it really adds to the replayability in this game. You also have different player boards, and you have different personal tiles, and so they are different, but they don't feel very different. I don't feel like I'm playing a whole new puzzle when I'm playing with another map. But I like that you can switch them up.
Yeah, they don't, one of the sides are the same for all of them except for the special animal. And the others are the same, or are different. But as you said, like, I was hoping that would be a more, of course, it's going to be like Ark Noah when there's like different special abilities and stuff. I'm doing comparison because they're the same theme. It doesn't have anything else
No.
compared to them. I was just thinking a board of animals, but they don't feel different. Like they have like, oh, here, your starting tiles are not adjacent to each other, but here they are. Here you have a little extra tile up there that's kind of wonky. But other than that, that's not going to change the feeling. The tile that you have with your players, like the crocodile thing, I don't remember, it's a weird little crocodile. It's a very weird animal, and they are going to be different than the tiles for this animal, for example. But also, I don't feel, it's not like if we play 2 games in a row, it's not like, oh, I have to change to another animal because that's going to give me a other feeling.
The positive thing about these simultaneous play games is that you can play it with a lot of people. So this game goes up to 6. So it didn't really take a lot of more time when you play it with a higher player counts because you're drafting simultaneously. So that's also really nice.
Yeah, which means that it's going to be the same game when you play it with 2 and 6. So because of that, you should also know then that there's no interaction other than me waiting to see what tile you take, hopefully hoping, oh, don't take the tile I want.
The only thing is that when you're playing with 2, you send these 2 like little boards back and forth, so you can really plan a little bit. Okay, if you take this one, I at least want to take this. You can't really do that kind of planning when you're playing with more.
No, not in the same way. But I think that the player count, like, I usually don't like simultaneous action games. Here it doesn't bother me for a couple of reasons. It's a 20-minute game, and also I'm so invested in my own puzzle that I don't care what you do. It's like, I want to puzzle my thing. I want to do this the best way possible. Sometimes I feel when we play 2 players, we were both like lingering a bit, like, oh, I don't know what to choose, but like trying to wait for the other people to choose. And there is a rule for that, as I said, that you can then just choose to say that, okay, I have number 1, I have to choose first, and you have number 2, and you can choose first. So in a 2-player game, if you want to play super strategic, you could play a turn-based, basically, and that wouldn't add too much to the time. I'm going to say that if you like games, like King Domino...
Like games, in general.
If you like King Domino...
Yeah.
Or if you like Cascadia, or basically other spatial puzzles, I think you're going to like this. I feel like this is kind of in the middle of those.
Oh, yeah.
To step up from King Domino, step down from Cascadia.
I agree.
You agree?
Absolutely. And I think this, because it's so short but still has this crunch, I think it's a game that you can play both with families, casual gamers, or also if you want that extra challenge, well, you can play with this with a lot of different groups.
Yeah, and we have played it with both like heavy gamers and gamers that are pretty new to the hobby, that's played just like a few games. And everybody has enjoyed the experience. So I think we're going to do some final thoughts.
Yes.
If you are here and you're watching this video and you like what we've seen, you can help us out in a big way by giving us a victory point.
And we get victory points when you click that subscribe button. You can also click the bell to get notifications every time we post a new video.
So let's do a final thoughts.
Yes, I really like this game. It's actually a game that I like more and more the more I play it. I like dice drafting and I like tile placement. So they go hand in hand, and I also like the little mitigation you can do with your dice in this game. And it takes like between 20 and 30 minutes.
Yeah.
That's a great playtime for a game like this. So I'm going to give this an 8.5.
I think this game is great. I think that it is really taking that puzzle, distilling it down, making it short, making it sweet. It's like a very good game in that amount of time. I'm happy it's not an hour-long game.
Yeah.
Because the weight of this game is pretty light. It's a lighter game, but it gives me a lot of nice decisions for that playtime, especially when adding the missions, which then makes me like, okay, I want to play that there, but because of the mission, I would actually want that tile there instead. So that just adds another level to make me enjoy this and make me come back to it. I agree with you. I think that this one got better every time we played it, and I really had a fun time with it. I'm going to give it an 8.5 as well. We're going to end this review with the paddle, and we're going to do 1, 2, 3, boom! It's a double keep for this one, which was not a big surprise for me, because this is just like comes into what we like in games. Like it's just like the puzzle, the spatial puzzle is something we like, and adding all of these things make this a super duper cozy, fun, pleasant experience.
Cool.
And that's going to be the end Thank you so much for watching. We appreciate it. I'm Johannes.
I'm Sunwa.
And you've been watching Board Gaming Ramblings, and bye-bye.